Well, what's up, everybody? It's your girl here, Breanna Colón, and thank you again for coming to join us for another podcast episode of Your Life, Your Money with Breanna Colón. I am joined today by another one of our Integrity Financial family members, Miss Diane Turner. Say hi to the people.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining me today and taking the time.
Sure.
I never take for granted when my clients are like, yeah, I'll do that because, it's certainly a financial, as we know, personal finances is such a private matter. So when clients are willing to be open and talk about it, that must mean we did something right.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I want to go ahead and just kind of jump right in. I know I have known you for quite some time.
Correct.
And how long ago was it? Let's see. I know it was during our Great Commission days
It's
when I
Great
initially
Commission
met
days. Right.
And
It was.
yeah, how long? When was that?
I want to say the time we start working together was since 2016. I knew you
Okay.
before then, but I
Right,
think the
right.
time we start working together was in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, it's been that long.
Yes, I remember your boot camps and everything, and I was kind of hesitant. Like, I don't have any money. I don't need that. Yeah, go help me. But then the parks referred me, and I've been with you ever since.
Gotcha. Wow. And we have evolved in our client
Yes.
work relationship because when we started, because I don't remember back that far, right? For one specific client, what did we do in 2016? What was going on then? Do you
It
recall?
was the mortgage,
Okay.
the program you had for paying your mortgage off early or paying your bills
Okay.
off early. The mortgage was the focus on that. And I
Okay.
wanted to pay my condo off.
Gotcha. Okay, so that might have been our biweekly mortgage program. We got a lot of
Yes.
different financial strategies in our back pocket that we like to pull out, depending on the client situation. But
Right.
so that might have been the one that you're referencing, in which, just
Mhm.
for the benefit of the audience who may not be familiar with that, the biweekly mortgage program is one where you are paying half of your mortgage payment every 2 weeks. And you actually can't do it if you just send in half a payment to the
Correct.
mortgage company yourself,
Yes, I
because they're going
tried
to
that.
hold it. Right. See, and then what happened? They put it in a suspense account, and and then you get an audiogram saying you didn't pay or that you're late.
Yes.
And you're like, no, I paid y'all. I
And I'm
paid you
like,
half a
no, I've been
payment.
paying, but we didn't know what it was for, so it was just sitting here.
Right. That's
Like,
exactly what
no.
happens. Like, no, I'm not just sending you money to be sending it. I have my account number and
Right.
everything. What's the problem? But what
Right.
happens is, because the mortgage payment or mortgage company didn't collect a full mortgage payment, they're like, oh, well, this is just a partial payment. We don't know what to do with
Correct.
this. So we're just going
Hmm.
to put this in this side account. And then when we have a full payment, then we'll figure it out. And
And they
so
get
that's
interest
why
off of it.
yes, exactly. So that's why when you are going to do your mortgage biweekly, you either have to go through your mortgage company if they offer the program, or you go
Right.
through a third party company that offers a program, which in our case, that's what we did. We
Hmm.
have, we do encourage our clients to use, if their check and see if their mortgage company offers it, because that's going to be your lowest cost for entry to be
Right.
able to get into the program. But if they don't, then we have a company that we are contracted with where we can do it for anyone's mortgage loan. And so but it's not just for mortgage loan. It's also for boat loans, for auto loans, and for student loans. So for those people who are like, oh, it's going to probably take me forever, the rest of my life, to pay off my student loan, I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be. Student loans do
Nah.
not have to be a life sentence. With the proper planning, you'd be surprised at how fast you can actually knock it out. If we just cut back on Starbucks a little bit, or maybe we
Correct.
get our hair done one less week, it's temporary sacrifice for permanent improvement. How would it feel if you're currently in that position where you have a student loan, to get to where, you can free up this $700-800 a month that you got to pay out for this student loan for 10 years, 20 years, however long. And Lord knows, for the
Correct.
people that are just paying interest only on the loan, you're really going to be paying on it forever. So
I
you got to
know.
have a strategy, is the bottom line. So let me backtrack, because I really didn't explain how the program works. I just kind of, went on a tangent here. But basically, you're paying half of your mortgage every 2 weeks. And by doing so, it's the equivalent of paying one full mortgage payment, principal
A
and
year.
interest, for a year towards the principal. That's really what you're doing when you're paying every 2 weeks, because there's two extra pay periods per year, and that is going to knock down the principal. But the bigger picture is that by doing that, you automatically cut 5 to 7 years off of your 30-year
Correct.
mortgage. You know, people get
A
comfortable.
lot.
Exactly. That's a lot. You could find something else to do with 5 to 7 years of mortgage payments.
I know. Tell me
I know
about
I
it.
could find something else to do.
I
Shoot.
know I could too.
I could think of a few vacations I would rather take than
I
paying this
know. A
mortgage for the
couple of
extra.
cruises.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So when you think about it from that perspective, I can cut 5 to 7 years off my mortgage just by changing the way I pay and paying half every 2 weeks once I get into
Right.
a biweekly mortgage program. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can cut 5 to 7 years off by just paying half, what happens when you decide to add a little bit more? Oh my. So
Right.
you can actually be
Right.
strategic. Like some of you are probably paying extra money on your mortgage. I pay an extra $50, I pay an extra $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's random amounts that you're throwing at the mortgage with no end in sight, meaning you know it's going to be paid off at some point, but you
But you're
don't
not.
have a goal in mind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a date, but you can have a date. I'm saying you've got to
Correct.
be intentional. If you want to pay it
Yes.
off early, pick a date. What is the goal?
This is the date that I'm going to be finished. I will finish paying off this mortgage
Come on.
and look forward to
Amen.
it.
That's right. That's right. So you got to set a date and be intentional about it. And if you do it that way, then you can say, well, okay, what would it take for me to pay this 30-year mortgage off in 20 years? What would it take
Mhm.
for it to be paid off by the time I retire? Or what if I want it
Yes.
paid off, which was your deal, or what
Right.
if I want to have it paid off in the next 5 years, 7 years, whatever. You would be surprised how little it takes to pay off your mortgage or your car loan or your student loan, whatever it is, in a shorter period of time with just a little bit of financial strategy.
Right.
So
That's so true.
after I done went on off this tangent here, because I had to make sure I made a teachable moment there, so the people that aren't familiar with it, or maybe they've heard about it but they haven't done it and that kind of thing, like yeah, it's a good thing to do. So the point is, at that time, 2016, your goal was I need to get rid of this mortgage.
Correct.
And so you were and you're single, so it's not like you have another income to rely on other than your own. So
Right.
you had kind of determined, like, I'm not taking this thing with me forever. I want the house, but not the payment.
Correct. Correct.
So
Wanted some financial freedom.
yes, come on, don't we all? Shouldn't that be what everybody want?
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
right.
really. I was talking to when I did a financial boot camp last year at a church, and I was talking to a lady that was from Africa that attended the event, and she was telling me
Hmm.
about how in Africa they don't do 30-year mortgages. They're like, what is that? They actually pay cash. They save up.
Right. I heard that.
Imagine that. Saving up.
Hmm.
What? Save up for a house and not pay on it for
Yes.
30 years? I was like, what? Isn't that amazing? How
I
it's
know.
just
Right.
interesting the difference from one culture to another, that they would actually save up, and it's not like they living in a $50,000 house. Like they're saving up and living in a house. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's
Pay
amazing,
it all at one time.
right? But we've been so conditioned as Americans to just go off of the marketing that we see on TV advertising 30-year fixed rate loans. So
Correct.
that's what we sign
Correct.
up for. I mean, how often
Hmm.
do you see a 15-year mortgage commercial? Like never.
I don't recall ever seeing one really.
Exactly. Because they don't want you to pay it off early. They want you to take as
Not at
long as
all.
possible to pay it, because
Hmm.
that's how they collect. That we can't make enough money if you don't keep this thing for 30 years. We need to hold you
Right.
hostage. And we need you to refinance. So we will market for that.
I
Because we want you
know.
to refinance and we want you to start over again. You've been paying on it for 10 years, but we want you to start over again for 30. So
Right.
therefore we've got you for 40 years now. So oh yeah, we got to
And then we
advertise
want you to
that.
refinance that refinance.
Come on. That part.
Have
That
a
part.
cousin that's done it 4 times.
Wow.
Like, when are you going to finish paying it off if you keep refinancing?
Right, right. Not including the cost. We haven't even gotten to that. I won't even
Yes.
get on that soapbox today on the cost of refinancing and how that affects the mortgage and how that affects people's mindset when we say, Oh yeah, I refinanced because I saved a 0.5%. I said my rate went
Hmm.
down by 1%, and we all
Right.
excited, and we don't really even realize the cost
Not
of
at
what we
all.
have done. Been there and done that.
Hmm.
I can't even I can't even speak about somebody else because once upon a time, before I knew, when I didn't know what I know now, we did it too. We refinanced, so and
I
refund. I'm
would
not
say that's
saying.
something I never did.
Well, that's what, kudos to you. Kudos to you. Let's get some applause in the background because that deserves an air five. Good job because too many
Right.
people are doing refinances and for the wrong reasons. Because
Hmm.
if you're doing it to consolidate debt, it can be a good thing, but only if you learn the lesson.
Right.
Yeah, if you get an opportunity to wipe the slate clean and start over, with a lower payment, and now you freed yourself of this debt, that's cool. That's fine if you have learned your lesson and you're going to change your money behavior. But if you haven't done anything to change all of that, then you're going to be right back in
Yes.
debt again, and you got the mortgage too on top of that. So now you got the old debt wrapped in the mortgage, and now you got the new debt and still got the same bad habits. Where
Right.
is the financial freedom in that? It's missing.
So true. So
It's
true.
missing. It's missing. So back to you. We were talking about the fact that you did the biweekly mortgage, and that was
Yeah.
2016. Do you recall how much time after that it took to pay off your house?
I think it was 2 years. I believe August of 2018, I did a mortgage burning. We had a mortgage burning cookout. And
Ooh,
I,
I like it.
yes,
A
and that
mortgage
was,
burning cookout. Come on. I love it.
yes, I
I
brought my
love it. So did
mortgage
you
to the
literally burn
cookout.
it?
Yes.
You got that
Well,
statement out and you
no,
was
no, no, I didn't. I copied it. I
okay.
didn't burn the real one, but I made a copy of it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, just in case
Right.
something comes up and I need to prove that it's done,
Right.
I need to have it to say that it was paid off with the stamp on
Right.
it saying paid. So I
Yeah.
made a copy of the original and I burnt that.
I love it. I love it. I think more people should do that. I like that idea. Morgan, we do a party for everything else.
Right,
We
right,
we got gender reveal parties now that wasn't a
right.
thing before. So why can't we have a more churches do it with the mortgage burning? So why can't we do it as individuals to celebrate? But that
And
would
that's
first
what I did.
require more of us to actually pay it off.
Right.
But that's worthy of a celebration. I like it. Mortgage
Yes.
burning ceremony. Well,
Okay.
you call it a
Yes.
mortgage burning party or barbecue. We're gonna barbecue the heck out of this mortgage statement
That's right.
and then put some
That is
chicken on the grill.
so true.
So you said how many years was it?
It
About
was about
5?
2 years.
Oh, 2 years. Look,
In
I'm trying to add
16 and
more on.
I burned it in 18.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. So you got free of the mortgage. Was that the last debt? Or did
No,
you still had the HELOC, right?
I had the HELOC. So,
Okay.
I still had my HELOC.
But that was a
But
small amount. I mean, in
that was,
relation
yes,
to
it was a
having,
small amount. And I didn't use it until I start fixing up the condo. It's
okay.
like, hey, I've been in this place for all these years. It's still the same. Let me do some upgrades,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
was contemplating back then maybe one day moving
Mm-hmm.
or staying there. My thing was, why not fix it up? Even if I don't move, at
Mm-hmm.
least it's there for me. I can enjoy it.
Right.
So,
Right.
and you think about it. Okay, if you're going to sell it, you want some upgrades. If you want to get the
Mm-hmm.
money that you want out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the things that I was contemplating back then.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So we didn't so after we got the mortgage paid off, then I think we had some time in between. Things were kind of going fine,
Right.
and then you retired. Go ahead.
We say the first thing I paid off was my car.
Okay.
The
Okay.
car was paid off first, then the
Mm-hmm.
mortgage,
Okay.
and then the
Okay.
then the little credit cards. There was not a lot, but then those were paid
Mm-hmm.
off. Um, so
So you got those out of the way, and
right.
then how long after that was it that you decided you wanted to move, or decided you were considering retirement within a certain period of time?
Um, that was 18, probably right after COVID in 2020.
Because it
It was
was
like
what 2021 when you moved, right?
it was 2022.
Okay. Okay. Got you.
22, July of
So
22. Well, I started in 20 and 21 is when I started looking
yeah, because that's when
this
we
out.
started working together again in
Right.
2021. But this time it
Mhm.
was about the retirement planning side of it
Correct.
and making sure that things were kind of lined up. And so you had decided, hey, I'm getting out of this northern territory and I'm going south, like a lot of people do.
I want to retire where there's some warm weather.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And so now you're in the great sunshine state of Florida, and I'm gonna try real hard not to be jealous.
Yes,
I'll
because
just come visiting, you know.
it's nice and warm down here. We're about 85 degrees right now.
What? Only
I say
85 degrees.
eight
Huh? While
about
we
eight
have
o'clock
snowing
this morning
outside.
it was 70 degrees.
That's crazy. Here we are in March, and you got 78, 80 plus degrees, and I'm over here with snow. What in the world?
Ah, I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You know, I think I feel like I got a self inflicted wound staying here and enduring this.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
I
have to
didn't
do
mean it.
something about that.
Yeah, come on down and visit.
I'm
Come
telling you,
on.
I'm helping everybody else move to Florida. I need to go ahead and find me
Right.
one in Florida. Go ahead on and get
Come
up out
on
of here.
down. Come on down. I
Gonna
got
have
some
to have a
rooms. You can.
yes. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with the husband. Like, sir, you know, it's time now. He wouldn't object because we love Florida. We visit Florida a lot, actually. You know, usually it's 3 to 4 times a year. We have not been down there this year yet, but it's definitely on
Okay.
the radar. Coming up soon. So, more on that later. But so we got to 2021, and
Hmm.
you were getting ready for retirement. And
Right.
part of that process was you were going to sell your house and move down
Correct.
south. And the
Hmm.
goal was to pay cash for the house because you didn't want to have a
Yes.
mortgage.
Correct.
And amen to that for anybody that can
Amen
do
to
that.
that.
Like, hey, you know,
That's
now of
right.
course you're going to have some that would argue that point and say, well, no, I wouldn't pay off my primary residence. I don't have anything to
Right.
write off and this and that and that and this. There's a certain freedom and feeling that comes from knowing your house is fully paid for. Like,
I don't understand. I used to be that way, where it's that with your taxes, oh, I'm not going to do this because I want to have some money coming in. And that's the mentality they want us to have, that in March, April, tax season, you want to have money coming in. But does it feel better to have money coming in April or February through April, or to not have having to pay any bills at all, no mortgage payment? I'm sorry, I
right.
waited, and people are like, oh, why are you going to do that? Because I don't have a mortgage. While you're waiting for two or three, some people $7,000 or $8,000 to come
Mm-hmm.
in February, March,
Mm-hmm.
I got my months free. I
Right.
can do what I want to do. It's we have to get out of that mentality of uh, waiting for your taxes so you can have a whole lump sum of money coming in. It
Yep. And then
no,
be struggling
that's
all year. Many people, it's that struggling all
right.
year. Like, what are we doing?
It's just
What are
not
we
the
doing?
same. I
Yep.
enjoy not having a big mortgage payment, having not to pay a big mortgage payment every month.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Only
I
thing
mean
I
it.
pay now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, only thing
Go
I
ahead.
pay now is electric, water, and electric, water, and my lawnmower. The person that comes in to take care of my landscaping.
I love it. I
Come
love it.
on,
I only have to pay one, two, three. Look at me.
right? That's less than $500.
That's freedom. That's freedom.
Yes,
You can travel, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And, you know, like
correct.
I was saying, some people will have the school of thought that if I don't, I'm not going to pay off my house. I would rather invest that money. Now that I'm not saying that doesn't work because
Right.
you could pay the mortgage and you could, you know, invest the money and allow it to grow and all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff and then come back and pay the house off later and still have, and for some clients, you know, just for the record, as an advisor, I don't have a one size fits all mentality. So it just depends on what the goals are for the client that we then cater and say, all right, well, let's look at it from this angle and that angle. In her particular case, she didn't want to touch her 401k. She wanted to be able to just live and be. And if we had paid off or had she gotten a mortgage, it would have not, she wouldn't have been able to do that. She would have had to
Right.
tap into the 401k and that kind of thing. So I guess to some extent you had the best of both worlds because you were able to pay cash for your house, but still had your 401k pot. And I should say
Correct.
still have, because you still haven't
Yes.
touched
Still
it.
have
And
it.
it's, and
Haven't
we're in
touched it.
2026. So that's
Right.
been 5 years, well, 4 years since retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so you were able to sell the house and made a really
Mm-hmm.
nice profit. And so then
Correct.
we had to set a different kind of mentality and budget because now it's how much house can I afford since I'm paying
Correct.
cash. Just because I have the money, have this amount of money, doesn't mean I need to
Mm-hmm.
put it all in a house. So,
Correct.
and so how did you, let me let you talk about that whole process and how we worked that out.
Well, the first thing I did was like, I got to call my financial planner because I don't want to be house poor. I don't
Mhm.
want to go and get something that later on down the years I'm not going to be able to afford or be able to stay in.
Mhm.
So I need somebody that has that expertise to tell me how much house I can afford, how much car I
Mhm.
can afford, how much whatever.
Mhm.
And you literally, I mean, you gave me a budget for my house, my car, my furniture, and told me what I could do when I was ready to get a pool, how much I could do for the pool, which I did pull back, but still,
Mhm.
before I made any huge purchases, I went through Brianna
Mhm.
to say, look, can I afford this? What do you think?
Mhm.
Before I go out here and make any decision, I want to make sure I'm going to be okay. I don't
Mhm.
want to have to, like I said, be house poor. So
Absolutely.
that's how I went through everything. That's how I still go through everything. I want to do this. I want to do that, but I'm going to call Brianna first because I'm not going to make a decision without her.
Y-
Not at all.
Your point
No,
was I'm financially free and I want to stay that way.
I want to stay that way. So this is how we have my budget set up. Can
Right.
I do this? Can I squeeze this in? And if I can, you'll let me know. And if I
Mhm.
can't, no.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's what I go by. And I'm not going to say, well, I think I can. No. If you say I can, I can. And that's
Are
just the
you
way
do
it's
you
going to
feel
be.
like you're comfortable in retirement?
Yes, I am. I
So,
don't have I don't have to
go
worry
ahead.
about, oh gosh, do I have enough money to pay this bill? Um, am I going to be able to pay this bill next month?
Mhm.
Because I know it's there. So no matter where I have to go, it's there.
Absolutely. I do want to double click on one thing you said, which was you don't want to be house poor. And that's a very
Correct.
valid point that I think a lot of people get wrong. And in some people's cases are house poor without even realizing it because
Hmm.
we don't know what we don't know. Meaning, if we know if we make six figures, if I make six figures, my husband makes six figures, oh, we good. If the lender tells us that we qualify for a $750,000 house, we good. We excited about that, and we're going off of, oh, we make $250,000 a year. But who is living off of their gross income? Is not you.
Right.
So you can't, while yes, the lender is going to qualify you off of that, at the end of the day you
Yes.
got to sit down with the numbers and say, wait a minute, okay, yeah, we make 250, we make 100, we make 80, whatever, but how much are you taking home? How much is hitting the bank
Correct.
account?
That's
And
right.
from that, if, because I hear people reference sometimes and they'll say, well, the first check, that's my mortgage check. So, but then they're cramped. Like the mortgage is taking up the majority of the check and they are crippled and can't do anything else until that second pay period comes. Like,
Hmm.
what? That means that your mortgage is taking up almost 50% of what you bring in. That's
Correct.
too much. That is house poor. So if
Hmm.
you have not evaluated, you meaning you who are listening to this show right now, if you have not evaluated, where are you on the radar and what is a good benchmark or rule of thumb? Our rule of thumb is typically not to exceed 30% of your take home pay. What is your
Hmm.
housing cost? How much is my mortgage, my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance? Now, I didn't even get into the house maintenance and all of
Utilities.
that.
Yeah, and that's
But
what I
at
was going to.
minimum, yeah, go
Right.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was like, that's what I was going to say. When you hear people say, "I make this much," oh yes, and the lender say you can afford it. You may be able to afford it, but now you have to keep it. You have the upkeep of that house. You go out here and you buy this 600, 700 million dollar house because the banker tells you you can, but now you got to
Mm-hmm.
pay the utilities, you got to pay the insurance on it, the upkeep just to keep it warm, keep the lights on. You got this humongous house, but
Yeah,
now that money you're going to have to take out of your check to take care of
absolutely.
that house. You still have to eat. You have to furnish the house unless you're going to live in it empty.
Which
People do
defeats the
not,
purpose.
right. People don't take into consideration that once you get the house, now you got to keep the house.
Right.
You have
Exactly.
to keep it warm, to keep the pipes. You got to take care of the outside of the house, the perimeter of the
Mm-hmm.
house. It takes more than just being able to buy a house to
Yep.
get a house.
Absolutely.
And we were not taught that,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. For
But
sure.
this is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to get the education so that you know how to do things better going
Hmm.
forward. To know better is to do better. So when we start thinking about the 30% that I referenced, is my mortgage payment more than 30% of what I take home every
Right.
month? And if it is, it's a possibility that you might be house poor because you still haven't taken
Hmm.
into account in that number. You haven't taken into account the utilities that she just talked about, the maintenance of the house, your electric, your gas, your water bill, your grass cutting, your extermination, whatever else you have to maintain your house.
Yes.
All of that, just housing, period. You shouldn't be at 40 and 50% just maintaining and paying for your house. That's too much. You can and you got to think about one of the other things that I see people miss in when they are excited about, I'm going to go buy a house. They're not thinking about long term, meaning, yes, I'm going to go get this 30-year mortgage, but if I'm what's happening in my life over the next 30 years that I might also need money for. If I'm young,
Correct.
if I'm 30 years
Yes.
old and maybe I'm not married yet, and am I planning to get married? Am I going to have
Hmm.
kids? Well, I got to make sure I account for I'm going to have a daycare expense or I'm going to have a nanny or something. I'm going to have some kind of child care expense that I need to be able to afford to pay for that. If I like traveling, I still want to be able to travel and own a
Hmm.
house. I don't want to buy a house and that's all I can do is see my house.
Right.
you know? So I think
Yeah.
when people make that mistake of just not thinking ahead about everything else that comes into play, or even if they're like later in life and maybe they just bought their first house and they're 50 years old and they want to retire 15 years later, well, you got to think about before I buy this house and can I afford this when I retire? Or
Hmm.
am I going to now be stuck that I can't retire because I bought this house 15 years ago and I didn't plan for the fact that I also want to be able to retire? So wherever you
Yes.
find yourself, my point is you need to do the calculation to see where am I? And that's as simple as saying, what is my take home pay? If it's you and your spouse, how much, what's the total of all the money coming into the bank account for the month? And take that number times 30%. You can do it as simple as
Hmm.
that on a calculator, and that'll tell you all of my housing stuff shouldn't is coming up should not be more than this particular percentage, and then go and add up what's it costing you to maintain your house, and see where
Hmm.
you are. Where are you on that scale? And that'll tell you, man, I might need to make some adjustments. No wonder I've been having a problem. I thought it
Right.
was this, but now I find out it's actually my house. That's the real problem. Maybe you might need to
Right.
downsize. If downsizing temporarily gets you to a place of financial freedom, you can always buy another house,
That is
but
so
you'll be
true.
better equipped to handle said house. Hello.
And to get into this, one thing I did was even before I paid off my mortgage, I lived on a, and I got this from Elder Terry,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I went a step forward. I don't know, she might have done the same percentage, but 10, 10, 10, 70.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I lived off of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You 10% was your tithes, 10% was savings, 10% is what I spent, and that 70% were my bills.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have a budget.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you have to maintain that budget, and because like you said, things may come up. You still have your insurance on your home you have to pay
Mm-hmm.
for, but what if your car breaks down? What are you going to
Mm-hmm.
do then? What if
Mm-hmm.
you have a flood? All depends on where you live.
Right.
You got a
Right. In
flood.
Florida, that's a real thing.
Yes. Thank goodness. I'm in Central Florida, so even though we
Mm-hmm.
get the high winds, we don't
Mm-hmm.
really, we're really not affected too much by the hurricanes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got to have you have to have something set aside for it so you don't touch that main budget for your house.
Yeah. Yeah. But Diane,
So
budget is such a dirty word. I don't like to hear that word. Budget. What?
you got to
Why
have
do
a
I have to
budget,
have a budget?
just like you got to
Uh,
pre-plan for that last day.
right. People don't like to
You
talk about that either.
no, but you
I got to
got to
talk
do
for I got to talk about life insurance. Oh no, that might mean I'm getting ready to die.
it. Right.
Like no, it's
But
called
you got to
planning.
do it. It's called planning because if something happens, now you got to, your family, you got to take out of that. It's just somewhere, somehow, the money is coming out of somewhere if you don't set it aside.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
something I try to teach my children.
Mm-hmm.
One day, just teaching them that you got to have your budget. So if an emergency does come up,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to touch from that main budget. And if you're trying to buy a home, if you don't have that money set aside, now it's like, okay, I'm going to have to go in here, but that's going to be part of my mortgage or
Mm-hmm.
my insurance. The home insurance is coming up. Oh, shoot, I got to, then you're stuck because now you're robbing
Yeah.
Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that phrase that people have used that for many, many years? Yeah, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. And they ain't
Yes.
never met Peter or Paul, but steady robbing.
Right. Uh-huh.
Steady robbing. That mindset is just terrible. Absolutely
Yeah.
terrible. And how do we, overcome? We got to be willing to do some things different. That's really the bottom line. You got to be willing
Mm-hmm.
to change. And I do want to make one other point of clarity because I did ask you earlier. I said, were you comfortable in being retired? I wanted to make sure that I had you answer that question because earlier when you were like, she had me on a strict budget and I had to spend this amount on the house and this amount on the car and this amount on the furniture and da da da
I
da.
am
You know,
comfortable. I have my budget where I mean there's I have the excess to me
yeah,
that
yeah,
I don't have to go to Breanna to say, can I spend this? I have what I have in my budget. So yes, I am living comfortably. I can
yes,
wake up in the morning without a headache,
yes.
wondering, oh gosh, this bill is due today. That bill is
Mm-hmm.
due, and another thing is people wait until, and I've had this happen to me too, but you have your home, the property taxes that are
Mm-hmm.
due.
Mm-hmm.
You know what your property taxes, you have an estimate of what your property taxes will cost you at the end of the year based on the prior year.
Yeah.
People wait until that time come up and then start trying to pull money out. I say what I do would say what the taxes was last year,
Mm-hmm.
add 10% onto that,
Mm-hmm.
and then divide that by 12,
Mm-hmm.
and then start putting that money to the side. So at the end of the year, that money is already, you don't have to pull it out from anywhere. It's
Mm-hmm.
already there.
You're not surprised. You're already prepared. Come on here.
Correct. And if it comes less, then that's more money. That's a little extra money you
A little
have.
extra for you. A little extra for you.
Right.
Yep.
If it's
Absolutely.
more, you don't have to pull that much out. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and it shouldn't be more because I don't think the taxes has ever gone up 10% from the prior year. So at least
Right.
you have it there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have that safety
Absolutely.
cushion there.
Yeah. Yeah. People always act surprised when that bill comes as if they didn't know, as if they hadn't already experienced it once or twice. And then it comes
Right.
around again and they're like, oh my gosh, oh man, they telling me my mortgage. And then they mad about it. My mortgage went up. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we don't do the extra work of being clear about why the mortgage went up. It's not always the taxes. Sometimes it's also the insurance that went up. But if you
Right.
don't make the phone call, if you just, pay it and be
That
done with it,
PMI,
you
yes.
need to know. It might mean that you may need to make a change on your homeowner's insurance. Maybe if they
Mm-hmm.
decided, whatever company decided that you were paying $100 a month, now they just randomly decided that now you need to pay $120 a month for your homeowners. Well, then maybe you need to be calling somebody else and getting quotes. Don't
Right.
get so comfortable and married to a company that you
Right.
forget that they are out to make their money, not make you money.
Correct. You don't have to stay with who the mortgage company put you with initially. You can always switch up.
Right, right, right. Now you're referencing the PMI, which is the private mortgage insurance, which the lender
Okay.
does, have that company. But the homeowner's insurance, that's for
Oh,
if your
oh no,
house
the
burns
homeowners.
down, and yes, the
Right.
homeowner. So
Yes.
with that, you can choose and pick your own company, and then decide,
But you're talking about the regular insurance.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So with that in mind, we're gonna pause for a minute and take a quick break. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. We will be right back.
Hello, my name is Linda Gabriel. I am a preschool teacher. I live in Maryland, and I am about to be 42 years old. And I am here to tell you that Breanna is awesome, and you need to get into her program. She has helped me so much in the last just 10 months to be able to change my mindset on how I take care of my finances. She has helped me to be intentional about how I'm spending my money, and she's been so supportive in the most non-judgmental, I'm in your corner, cheerleader type of way. A lot of people think that just because you're an adult that you should be able to do things that most adults can do. And while I'm an amazing teacher and I love my job and love doing it every day, I am not amazing at my finances. But Breanna has helped me to change the way I think about myself and how I think about my finances. And if you are willing to stick to what she is helping you with, it will be a life-changing experience for you too. I can't begin to speak about how proud I am of myself and how I feel able to take care of myself in ways that I have not been able to before. As teachers get a little bit of the rough end of the stick, as a preschool teacher, it's even rougher. We are able to finally be at a place where we are making more now, and all of this has coincided with the amazing Breanna in the mix and has come together to help me be a more confident adult and help me to be able to feel better about my future. So if you are an adult, you feel like you cannot get a hold of your finances and you feel like you're drowning a little bit in any type of way that you feel a struggle, we go to a professional to help us take care of things. And I have been so thankful to find Breanna, to have been able to pair up with her, to have this support, to be able to gain more knowledge of myself and to help to gain more knowledge about where my money is going. Mindfulness really matters, not just when you're a child and when you are in your school setting. It has to go with you wherever you go and to every part of your life to help make those parts of your life better. So if you can't and you need the help, it is so important to spend a little bit of the money into going and helping yourself by finding somebody who is able to see things differently than you do. I would have never caught any of the things that I'm now changing, and thanks to Breanna, I'm canceling out debts, and I am saving more than I ever have in my life. It is so integral to be intentional with your money and with the people that you spend time with. And Breanna has been amazing energy the whole time, and I don't know what I would have done without her.
And we're back. Thank you so much again for tuning in. If you're listening online, thank you for listening. If you're watching online by way of YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I apologize if this is showing up. If I'm showing up a little darker than you normally used to seeing me, I didn't have my tech support today, and the show still had to go on. So I'm gonna just apologize and say it's all good. It's all good. As long as you enjoying the conversation, focus on that. Focus on
Right.
that. So when we last left, we were talking about your leading up to retirement. We were talking about how you had sold a house and, decided you were going to move to Florida. And we were talking about, I asked you about, like, now, are you comfortable? And I was making a point to say, like, hey,
Yes.
she's not eating PB&Js, unless she
Only
just
because I
wants
want
to.
to.
Right. Exactly. Unless she just wants to. We made a plan with the funds that she received. I think I didn't mention this yet, that we made a plan with the funds that you received in such a way that you did not have to touch your 401k funds.
Correct.
So we were able to tuck those away, put those in an IRA, and just let that continue to grow. And so she did not, and still has not, just for the record, has not had to touch that all this time.
Correct.
And here we are 4 or 5 years later. And she even had a monkey wrench thrown in, because the plan was, when we set up our plan of this is what's going to happen, she was moving to Florida with the intent that she was going to work a little bit longer. She wasn't retiring
Yes.
immediately. How much do you remember how much
It was
longer,
just
like
a couple of months.
that you were going to work longer?
It was just a couple of months.
Okay, got you. So
But it was still up in the air because I had not finalized it. But my plan was to do it that December, I believe. That December.
so that would have been at least 6 months then, right? Because you moved in July.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So either way, the point was that you were planning to move and still work. And so the job had initially okayed you moving and working. And so we planned accordingly that we did a budget for, you're still going to be, you'll be semi-retired from the standpoint of having moved from Maryland, but you're going to, we had set up this budget based on her still working. And then, we had also planned for, once she is done working, what the income was going to look like. And then
Yes.
the monkey wrench came into play. I'll let you tell it.
Well, after working a job for 17 years, never say never. Never thought that
Right.
giving your time to a job that you enjoy doing, that one day, after all the changeover and administration changeover and all this stuff, you tell your boss, hey, I think I'm going to retire. And then this was on a Monday. That Wednesday at our next meeting, Diane, have a seat, because this is going to be hard to hear. And I don't know, for some reason, I just knew that it was coming. And I said, God prepared me, because everything fell in place at the time it did. I had gotten my HELOC for this home. I had put everything into my trust. I got the house, everything was finalized. And then they were like, we're going to have to let you go.
Wow.
Like, oh, so you had me train somebody to take my place? Really?
So just to clarify, you had moved in July, was planning to retire in December. You had put in notice and said, hey, I'm planning to retire at the end of the year. And then they decided, no, you're going to go ahead and retire right now.
Right.
It's kind of how that went, and basically
That's
took
how
the
it
power
went.
of choice from you.
Correct.
And
Right. They didn't allow
so,
me to retire after 17 years of service.
right. They just let you go and was like, well, it's been nice. It's been
It's been nice. See ya.
So it wasn't really a retirement.
We expect, as of today, when this call ends, you can
letting
no
you go.
longer get into the system. Send us
Wow.
our computer and everything back. Okay,
Wow.
you send me the box because I'm not paying for it.
Wow. Well, it really brings up a good point, which is never get too comfortable in
Correct.
the job. And it goes back to, we're loyal to a fault sometimes,
Yes.
to companies, to our
was.
employers, to banks, to mortgage companies, to insurance companies, to everybody. And are they being equally loyal to us? So, I mean, the government everything going on with the government right now is a great example of that. You have people
Mm-hmm.
that have worked for 25 years, 30 years, however long, being forced out, and they hadn't planned to retire for another 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or whatever. And now they're being forced to make a decision. So it really kind of, and then coupled with all these government shutdowns, these
Mm-hmm.
intermittent government shutdowns that even though they have happened before, seemingly people still don't prepare financially for them. So one of the best things that you can do is make sure that you are solid financially so that you always have the power of choice. You may plan and say that you want to retire at 35 years of service, at 30 years, at 25, at 20, whatever. But what if? What if you
What
can't?
if?
What if they decide you not? What if? And, if that is the case, have you planned for the
Have
what ifs?
nothing.
Do you even know how to properly plan for the what ifs? And we're not talking
That's
about
right.
just an emergency fund. We're talking about literally planning to make sure that you are in a financial position to where if they said, hey, you know what, we appreciate all you've done, and yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and let you go today, that you would be
Right.
like, all right, I appreciate the time, thanks, goodbye, and you ain't even
That's
worried
it.
about it. It'll be like sweat dripping off your forehead,
That's
you know.
right. And in a sort of way, that's kind of how it was. I mean, even though it was still a shocker, but
Yeah, of course.
I watched them do it to my manager. I watched
Mm-hmm.
them do it to my director. They came in one day and had a slip on their desk saying, "We thank you for 30 years." My manager actually came out of high school and started working for my company.
Wow.
30, 40 years, and this is the thanks you get. You don't give him time to retire. You just say goodbye. My
Yeah.
director.
Yeah.
So we just saw things shifting in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, if they'd do it to them, they would do it to me. But with being the support staff, it's like they start cutting back on the support staff. So that means more work for us. And I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't think that it was going to come so soon. But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
you never be complacent.
That's right. That's right.
So it start saying, okay, let me make sure I got everything in case.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So in your case, the fact that we had already started this preparation
correct.
long before that happened still gave you a sense of peace because
Hmm.
even though, yeah, our
They
plan
did.
didn't go exactly as we had intended, you were still in a fantastic financial position to
Correct.
where it didn't break anything. We
No.
just revised the agenda and,
Right.
adjusted accordingly, and life still went on, and you still renovated this brand new house you in. Well, I won't say renovated, but let me say catered it, fixed it in a way that, to make it your own. Let me say it that way. So
Yes.
you were able to buy, just for the record, a new construction home, and
Correct.
then, start doing things to make it your own, add a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little Diane
Hmm.
flair,
Yes.
which is a beautiful thing. So since over that time period, what's some of the biggest things that you've been able to do in the house that you're most proud of?
It would have been a pool, but I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I didn't want the upkeep of a pool, so I extended my
Okay.
lanai. Um, I had other little things done to it, unique things done to it, but the last thing I had done was my contractor just finished my wall unit.
Okay.
And you want me to show it to you?
Sure. Sure. Why not?
It was just my TV was just sitting on this wall, and he was like, "Miss Diane, this," and I'm like, "No, I don't want that." But so I just had this wall unit built.
Oh, nice. That's beautiful. I like that light fixture
Two,
too.
thank you. I have another one over there. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
for me, it's all been about my bling.
Yeah.
I like a lot of bling. So,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know
Me
if you
too,
see the
girl. Me
light.
too. I know the people can't see my shirt, but it says boss lady in bling.
Yes. So I had that done, and I enjoy it.
Okay.
To sit
As you
down at
should.
night. I'm sorry.
I said, as you should. You said to sit
Yes,
down
and you
what?
see the crystal light behind me, so it's just
It's
so
wonderful.
having that done, I was able to purchase the car that I've always wanted. years prior. So I got that into updates. Just like you said, I made it my own. I had it prepared just in case one day get my mother down here.
Uh-huh.
She was supposed to come down with me, but then she got amnesia.
I ain't say I was coming down there with you.
I never
What?
told you that. Lynn, I don't know where you got that from. I'm like, Mother, yes, you did. So she has her own suite.
Oh, excuse
But
me. So
she is
it's
saying
there if she decides.
it's there if she decides.
I got you. I got you. So now
So
you are 67,
7.
right?
Hmm.
And don't look it. I know the people
Thank
that are
you.
listening can't see you, but for those that are watching on YouTube or on Instagram or Facebook, they can see you
67
and
and single.
see. Oh, see, girl, you better make your plug. 67 and single. Come on here, okay? For all inquiries,
Yes.
to date Diane Turner. Yes, you can slip into her DM and send her a message.
That's right.
Yeah, but you don't look 67, but you can do that when you're feeling financially free. You don't have any
That's
financial
stress.
stress. You can
Right.
travel, you can just enjoy life and just chill and do you.
Hmm.
Do what you feel like doing when you feel like doing it. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Really. What a blessing. What an absolute blessing.
Yes, it is. It
So,
is.
what I was going to talk about, so now currently being 67, when you first moved, as we mentioned, we kind of positioned you financially to just live on cash, really. You didn't have
Correct.
to, you didn't have to start Social Security, even though you were of
No.
age and could have, which this
Hmm.
comes up quite a bit for people where they're trying to decide, well, what age should I start taking Social Security? Should I take it at 62 because life isn't promised? What if I don't live until I'm 67 or I'm 70? And then there's the other side of the coin where I would like to, if I can, I'll wait and get the full amount. I'll wait till I'm 67 and take it then. Quite honestly, there's not really a right or wrong answer because I could really
Correct.
argue, I could have an argument on both sides
Hmm.
of the coin, but I can also give you positives of it on both sides too. So it really boils down to your individual financial situation to determine what is the best time for you. You can't go off of your friend, your mama, your cousin, and all of them as to them taking Social Security at 62 or 64 or
Correct.
65. You
Hmm.
have to do it at the time that's going to work best for you based on your current financial situation. There are some who are in a position to where they have to take Social Security at 62 or 64 or 65. But then
Hmm.
there's others who have that choice, which is like you in your situation. You could have taken it at 62 or 63 or
Yes.
any one of those ages you wanted to, but you chose to take it at 67 just because you could. And there was nothing
Right.
wrong with that either. And so now you're getting the higher amount. So now she's
Yes.
living off just the Social Security and along with other cash that she just has on hand and has been saving. And but also still has her 401k funds that she could turn on
And
income for that at any given time. So now we're
correct.
in this space of we've been strategizing a little differently and saying, okay, all right. So now that the strategy's kind of changed a little bit, because initially it was, hey, I'm going to put these funds over here. I'm going to take income
Hmm.
from it, probably sometime soon, but I don't know. We'll see how things go. And it kind of
Right.
went from that to, well, I'm kind of chilling. I don't really need it to live
Oh,
off of. So what else can we
nope.
do? So
Right.
now we're strategizing on how to turn one pot into two or three pots. So now
Correct.
currently working on taking some of those 401k funds and plugging those into an IUL, some of that into an
Hmm.
IUL. Some of it is going into other pots that she's growing that she'll just have access to at her leisure, and that kind of thing. So when it's all said and done, she actually will have three pots. She will have
Correct.
turned one pot that she didn't need to live off of into three pots
Three
that she
pots.
has access to and at her disposal to do whatever she wants, some more of whatever she wants, whenever she wants.
That's correct.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And that's the thing about when you're creating a financial plan, you're continuously evolving. Your goals are going to change as you age and, you get older and you're thinking of other things you want to be able to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's tweaking the plan based on where you're at now. Okay, now I'm at this age and stage, so now I'm thinking something different. What else can we do? If she wanted to go and buy a property, she could if she wanted to. That's not on her
Right.
radar, but I'm just saying if she
No,
wanted to, she's got all kinds of
thought about it.
options. Well, there you go. And you never know. In another couple,
Right.
2, 3 years, she might say, well, I thought about it some more. And I decided I think I want to do one. It's just again, that power of choice is really powerful, but it also positions her further to where if she ever got to a point that she couldn't take care of herself and a decision had to be made concerning her care, when we get into long-term care, which is another aspect of retirement planning, she will still be in position to have the power of choice. So if, God forbid, something happened and her family had to bring in a caregiver or she had to go into an assisted living facility or whatever, she will be positioned financially to be able to pay for that. And those things are not cheap. I have to say that because,
Yeah.
that's another area a lot of times where people don't know what they don't know. And if you've never sat with a financial person to figure out, retirement is more than just how much money am I going to have to live off of? It's everything
Mm-hmm.
that goes on during your retirement years
That's
and
right.
making sure that you're financially positioned to take care of it. You want your money to last as long as you do. And if you suddenly
Mm-hmm.
need care and it's going to cost you $7,000 or $8,000, where is that money coming from? Are you going to
Right.
comfortably be able to pay for it, or is your retirement money getting eaten up by your debts? Or buy too
Mm-hmm.
much house or too much of something
Right.
else? All of that is highly valuable and highly important. So I do want to backtrack to one other thing that I mentioned earlier, which was about the IUL, because I talked about it briefly, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to assume that everybody knows what that is, because some people might be like, what she say? I what? IUL, which stands for Indexed Universal Life Insurance. That is a type of life insurance. There are different types. And I should also say that there is not a one size fits all when it comes to life insurance. You will hear many people say, oh, everybody should get a term, everybody should get a whole life. I
Right.
don't agree with that at all. It's just simply not true. You need to get educated on what are all of the different types of policies out there and what are your goals? What do you want the insurance to be able to do for you? That is what dictates what is the best type of policy for you and your family, coupled with your health. Now, of course, if you have certain health issues, that's also going to dictate what type of policy that you may be limited to based on your health. But in general, there's different policy. There's no bad insurance. It means that you just weren't in the right one for you. So the
Mm-hmm.
IUL, the Index Universal Life one, that one is the one that allows you to overfund the policy. So you're putting more in than what the actual insurance costs, but it's because a portion of your money is going into a cash bucket that's growing based on how the stock market performs. So you're creating, you have, if you're already kind of in the retirement space and you kind of have play money, you're creating multiple things going on in that, because you're creating legacy. If you don't get to use the money, then that's more money that you're leaving behind for legacy purposes. But it also gives you access to cash, so you're still able to access and do things with the money for yourself. So it's not just about, I'm not worried about leaving money behind for someone else. It's about what it can do for you too. It's a combination
Right.
of things. Plus, there's critical illness and chronic illness and terminal illness. So, in her particular case, that particular product was a good fit for where she is now and the things that we're looking at. And in creating multiple pots that she'll have flexibility and have access to without having to worry about the tax component. So, I just wanted to make sure I took a minute to explain that. So anyway, as we get ready to wrap up today, is there any final words that you want to say to everyone that's listening about whatever?
No, I mean, just to just to let you know that getting someone to help you with your money, to make sure that your senior life is very comfortable. I would suggest that you all check out Breanna and her company, because they work with you. They are very knowledgeable. Um, I've been with her, I guess, over 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And just
Mm-hmm.
thought about it when you were talking about their insurance. I think I started too with life insurance with you
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
A long
so
time ago.
but
Yep.
they're there to guide you, do what you need to do, make sure your monies are in order. They're very knowledgeable, and I recommend Integrity.
Well, thank you so kindly. Thank you. She was not
Oh, you're
paid to say
quite
that, by
welcome.
the way.
I'm sorry.
I said she was not paid to say that.
Oh,
I'm
you
just
mean I
letting
could
them
have
know.
gotten paid? I could have gotten paid.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry. Yep, Jen forgot to let you know you weren't going to get paid for that statement.
no, but they are. I mean, they are very knowledgeable, and they keep you stress free when you're trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do with my money? How I'm going to do
Amen.
with it? Will I have any money left? You
Hmm.
know, and
Amen.
it is just good to know that when God calls me home, I will. There will be a little something left for the kids. Not
She
much,
said she gonna enjoy her money. Okay.
because I'm going to enjoy it.
I know that's right, as you should, as you should.
Right.
And thank you again so much for
Oh, you're quite
agreeing to
welcome.
be a part of the podcast. I think conversations are important for everyday people to know what's possible, and for people who have never thought about sitting with a financial person to really consider, like, oh, I didn't realize that they could help me in this way. Maybe I should sit down with a
Yes.
financial person. Maybe what I'm doing hasn't been working. I need a better strategy, or whatever the case may be. So we have our information up on the screen. Thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. Please like it, share it, and we hope to see you again for the next podcast episode. God bless you. See you next
See
time. Bye
ya.
bye.
Bye bye.